Hello and welcome to episode 27 of Simple Groundwork and Diorama Techniques with me, your host and instructor, Bill Grigg. And as always, I have my faithful clam bake cameraman Dave behind the lens here. Yeah! The show. We say hello to Dave, we give him a big wave, and an astounding... Yeah, people are cheering for you, Dave. You got fans. Besides, Dave's cameraman tip of the day is never stare death in the face because it'll poke you back in the eye with a stick. So keep that in mind as well. We are here in episode 27, and we are going to continue with and I'm going to do it again. We'll do it again. I'll be back. Hi. I'll be back. Oh, we're so pros, Dave. We're such pros. We are going to continue on with the shoot yourself in the head, the C-47 gunship. Eventually I'm going to get this done. We'll get this done one of these days. But what we're going to do today is we're going to do a little. We're going to go a little outside of the box of building out of the box, and show you that you can do some simple additions to these things, i.e., as when we did the seat belts in the cockpit, to enhance your out of the box build. Now, again, as a military modeler, I am striving for historical accuracy. So therefore, I look at as much reference material as I possibly can to get things correct. If you don't care about this, who cares? Paint it blue, pink, and yellow stars all over. It doesn't make any difference. You need to enjoy this hobby, but as a model maker, we as true model makers, we try to take something that exists in reality and bring it down in scale and then replicate it as accurately and as detailed as we can to make our miniature appear lifelike. So that's why we're going to do this enhancement in the engines. But again, like I say, you don't have to do this. So what I did is I needed to discover what these spooky gunships had inside of them for a power plant. Now I started reading and I went into this reference book right here. No glare?
No glare.
No glare. Okay.
Got it.
Okay. I went to this reference book and I looked around because as in one of the episodes I was showing, we looked at black and white line drawings of propellers that we had a pointed prop and a paddle blade prop and things like that. So I went in here to find out exactly what they had. Now I started to notice they had R-2800s, the Pratt & Whitney R-2800s in them, but then I started to notice different aircraft within that grouping. They had additional power plants. They had a couple of power plants that I didn't even know what they were, 2200s or something like that. I was reading the numbers. I was like, I never even heard of a 2200. And I'm an aircraft guy, so I should know these things. But anyhow, I could find no reference in my actual reference material that loaded it hard down. But I even went to the instruction sheet. I said, well, maybe the instruction sheet will say, it's in the intro, the AC-47 gunship was used in Vietnam, blah, 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 with all the information. And they didn't tell me the power plant either. So I'm pretty sure that they do. But like I said, when you got into like more like spy aircraft with these things that no miniguns, and they were still using them for fact finding and stuff like that. But there was little antennas, and you noticed between each of these they had different props and different power plants. But I'm getting a little too technical here now. So this is not going to help me. So what I did now is I went to an additional piece of reference, and I found this. And you can come right up here so you can see that we are doing an R-28. And then you can go over the other page, Dave. My finger's in the way. You can go to the other page and get some of the color shots there. And you can tell me when you get all those. Now what this is this is a kit supplied as an aftermarket product from another manufacturer, not the kit manufacturer. So in other words, we'll say it's, Joe Schmo's kit manufacturer, but it's, it's General Nuisance's R-28 100 kit of the engine, and I'll turn the page. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. This book is in such good condition, it's tough to keep it open. But there's some additional detail pictures of the kit being built. But if an R2800 engine is an R2800 engine, folks, there's nothing you can do about that. R2800 is an R2800. So this is what we will use as our reference. Okay? Now, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take, and I want to get the appropriate wire, because I am going to do this engine with wire. So let me get my wire, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now our next step in wiring this engine is getting a proper wire. Now, what I have here is I have a medical wire. It's very, very fine. These are hookups. These are lead hookups that you take and put to yourself, clip yourself up. So, I worked for a medical company for a long time. I happen to get a lot of this stuff. We only use these a couple times, throw them away. But they had such good wire in them, I want to use this. So what do? We've got to take the plastic coating off. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a number 11 blade, and I'm just going to slit this down the middle to get so I can expose my wire. There's other ways of doing this as well too, and I don't think I slit that deep enough. Let me try this. Let me try just stripping it with this. Matter of fact, hello, it's got a stripper on it. Hey, this has got a stripper on it. Oh, David, no. Let me split this head. I'll put it right up against my shirt so you get a good tight shot of it. And tell me when you got it, Dave.
I got it.
You got it right now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You can see that this wire is it's just too fine. Let's put it up next to the piece, and I'll show you it's not going to work. It's not going to work. So I need to find an alternative source of wire, which I have already chosen in case it didn't work. Now this here is not wire. Where'd the end go, Dave? You gotta be kidding me. Hello, here we go. What a mess. All right, this is solder. Now, the beauty of solder is that when you take it, and if you needed to do a complex line, like we wanted to do, like, I don't know, a hydraulic line running down the back of a spaceship or something, we could actually take the line and we could preform it. See it? Beautiful. Stays right in place. If I was to use this, which I am going to, whoops, you can see how if I was to install this, let's say it needed to bridge this space here. Can't even pick it up. I'm talking about installing it. You can see, like, if I needed that exact shape, you can see how easy it would be for me to take this and put this in, and it maintains its shape. Okay, so this is what we're going to use for our ignition wires coming out of our harness that goes around the outside of this engine. Okay, and how do we do that? Well, this is really very simple, very, very, very simple. What we're going to do is we're going to take and we're going to use a pin vise and put this in. Now, one thing I want to tell you about a pin vise is this. When you chuck very short bits, no, that's not the word I'm looking for. When you chuck very fine bits into a pin vise, you must do the following. Let's go take you through the tool anyhow. Might as well take you through the tool. Round end, hexagonal end or whatever, spins. This is the end you put against your palm, grab your tool and spin. Okay? So, take this apart. Show you this. The kit contains a collet inside, 2 different size holes, obviously for different size bits, self-contained, and I'll take this off and just show you this real quick. See, there's another inside, very, very large hole. So you can take a fairly sizable bit. Got the hole, Dave?
I got the hole.
Okay, I'm going to put it back together. Now, here's the deal. Drill bit is that long. When you are using a very fine bit, you do not want to take and chuck the bit with the shank all the way up. So in other words, if I put this together like this, am I going too fast, Dave?
No.
Okay. If I'm doing too fast, you tell me. Okay, if we put this like this, and we're to put this together, as I start to drill the hole, this can happen, and I will use this piece of wire to demonstrate this. I'll use this piece of solder to demonstrate this. Got a really, really long shank sticking out, and we're going to drill a hole. We come down to the piece to drill the hole. We start to turn, and the bit, you can see it, it starts to flex because it's so small of a bit. Now, there's two problems here. One is, if you needed a precise hole down, like you need it to go straight, straight, straight down, the flexing of the bit could change the angle that you're drilling at. Also, if the bit is off, and let me see if I can spin. Yeah, I can. Let me see if I can hold this in one spot and spin this with my hand. Yeah, this is good. See what's happening here? As we were drilling around, how can I do this? As we're drilling around the hole, the bit's coming inside to this hole, but now it's flexing back and forth. What could happen is the hole diameter, because of the flex, could actually increase in size because of the bit. So to avoid this, what we do is this. Now we're going to say that this is a very fine bit. This is a pretty sturdy bit, and I wouldn't be too worried about this particular one, but let's take it if it's small. What we want to do is this. You want to chuck the bit way down in the piece, and then tighten it up. Now, I'm going to do this on my hand with an example, okay? Here's where we're drilling. Here's our drill bit, okay? Here's our drill bit. We come over here. If we're chucked long, we have that problem, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. So what we do is, I'm going to use my fingers exactly to replicate that piece right there. So follow along with me, guys. We chuck it here. Okay, this is the bit. We chuck it here. We go down to our piece, and we just take a couple of turns. We establish our hole. We now increase the length of our bit. Couple turns. Increase the length of the bit. Couple turns. Now, you also have to be careful that you're holding your hand straight. You don't want your hand to flex because you're going to snap these little bits. They're so fine. It's not the big deal that you're snapping bits. That's, it's not a disaster. You can always go and get another bit, but the problem with drill bits is this. When you get small with drill bits, and not that I'm saying that, $3, $4 for a bit is expensive, but it is for little bits. And like I say, on this show, we try to keep everything as inexpensive, an application as possible for the fact of the economy that we live in. You can't be out there every couple of weeks breaking a drill bit and going out and spending $4 or $5 every time you whap these things. Let's say you did it in 2 o'clock in the morning and you're building downstairs and you bing your bit. What are you going to do? Run down your local store and buy a bit at 2 in the morning? Ain't going to happen. Also, when you buy the sets of very, very, very fine bits, like, and then I might as well show them. Open this up. Can you get in there, Dave?
Oh, they're showing up really nice.
Are they showing up really nice?
Yeah.
See how small these are? Look at in comparison to my finger. These are tiny. This one here is like a hair. So you can't be out there winging in the wind with these things. This was real expensive. I think this was like $24, $25 or something for these. But this is a good quality, good quality bit. But even in the sets that you buy in your local hobby shop, I think those are running now like $15.95, $17.95. Sounds so cheap. It sounds so cheap, but you got to consider in the long run. It's the long run. So you're spending $5, but you're spending it. You get into sizable amounts of money. But anyhow, let's actually now show you how we install. The bit is chucked correctly. Got it? Okay. The bit is chucked correctly. Now what we're going to do is, because I looked at my reference material, I know how my wires run. So what I'm going to do, and I got to do this on the desk here, Dave, because I have to back this up. Again, go down, and what I'm going to do here is, there's a ring that runs around the outside that all these wires come out of. They call a collector ring. I'm going to go, oh, I got a piece of schmeg here. There we go. And I am going to center this. Give it a little turn. Notice what I'm doing with my hand here. Look, watch what I do. Just a little. Okay? Then use the tool properly. Right there. And I can go fairly deep. And actually, Dave, we might as well show them the plastic on the end of the bit. Got it? Okay, and I'm going to go back to the cylinder, Dave. Get rid of that. And go to the top here. And again, drill a hole. Now you out-of-the-box modelers, keep in mind, this is not necessary. I'm just doing this so you out-of-the-box guys, you out-of-the-box modelers, let's say, can get a little more detail to your historical replica, and you can do it fairly inexpensively. So how do we attach this? And this is simple. We take our instant glue, and you might as well follow me to the palette, Dave. I'll pull it over a little bit. A little bit of glue out. Right there. Then I'm going to come back over to my nacelle, Dave, and the wire. Then I'm going to figure out roughly how much wire I need. Right about there. And cut it. Okay, now what I need is, I need some needle nose tweezers. Right there. What I did in these particular tweezers is I just took a little instant glue and I put a little sandpaper on either side that I just cut from a sheet, just so I give myself a little grippy. Grab my part, come down to my glue, pick a little bit up, come over to the nacelle, to the engine, and just drop a little bit in there and do it. I'm going to kind of move fast, Dave. You can stay in the engine. People know what I'm doing. Okay, now to make my life easy, I'm going to use some accelerator. Take a toothpick, pick some accelerator up, come over and touch the piece. I moved awful fast there, didn't I?
That's all right. I got you.
You got it? Okay. Okay, I want to accelerate that piece. The reason I want this piece solid, that's it. The reason I want this piece solid is because I want to bend it up into the other hole. And that is a little bit long, so I'm going to cut it down just a tad. And try it again. Now you can see how the advantage of using these needle nose is I can really bend this, and you can also see the advantage of the solder being used for the fact of it's so easy to manipulate. And that right into the hole there. Very, very nice. I'm going to pull this out just for a second. Now, the reason I'm taking this back out is I don't want to make a mess as I apply the glue. If I had the wire in the hole and I went around that hole, I would create like a collar around that piece. So I don't. I fill the hole, insert the line, and hope I get just a little squirt so I get just a little bump around it. So I pick this up. This is the CA now. And what we mean by CA is instant glue. For lack of better terms, crazy glue, but we don't use the term crazy glue. Instant glue or CA. I will use the term CA here. Again, tweezers. Whoa, whoa, boo, 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 boo. And into the hole. Like that little boo, 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 boo there, Dave? I had a guy come up to me in the supermarket the other day. He says, "Boy, I love your technical terms." I said, "What do you mean by technical terms?" He goes, "You got the little sticky up the thingamabob and the goes are into and the." I was like, "Yeah, I like to be technical. I like to be, I said, besides, I said, when you're sitting around with all your modeler friends and you start throwing out these terms, I'll be like, wow, impressive terminology." Sure, yeah. You sticky uppy thingamabob. That's what I want you to say. So that is it. As you can see, I kind of already started one. So I got two in there. But this is just a little added enhancement as you go around your engine. Like, again, you don't have to do this, but that's all right. Now, you could do this with other materials as well. You don't have to use solder. I like solder because, like I say, it holds its shape and stuff. But I think you could probably, if you don't have solder, I think you could probably do something like maybe coat some sewing thread with some white glue and use it in that fashion. Get creative. That's what we do as model makers. We get creative. And I'll tell you, I'm going to show them this because I just wanted to see the sickness of model making. When I first did that electrical lead, no, I'll bring it over, Dave. You don't need to follow. When I first did that electrical lead, these are the hookups that go to the pieces that stick on you. When I cut that off, it didn't hit the trash. It's going to go hit my spares box because maybe someday I might be able to use this as something. Who knows? You could be building a spaceship and put this on, and maybe it's a conduit that holds a wire. But as a model maker, you will realize you're going to have an awful hard time throwing away anything because you never know down the road it might be used for something. So anyhow, let us shift gears, get rid of the engine, and let's actually do some gluing, and we're going to actually put the wings together on that gunship. So I'll be back in half a second. And now we're going to put the wings together. Now we're going to do this step here, and I'm going to turn this around and do this step here. Okay? Now, what has happened is, I'm going to say it, Dave, we had a tape that went bluey, so we're doing this for, this is what, the Redux? Is that what we'll call it, the Redux? So what happened is, I will explain this. I will explain this along with the picture. I wanted to put the main I'm having a revolution. Yeah, I know it. I'm having a revolution here. I wanted to put this main spar in, okay? So what we did is as I installed this main spar, we went in here, and like I was saying, I learned a lot from building train buildings here. I was only usually like a couple of glue guy, but now I realize you need to use various types of glue. So what I did here is I went in with the liquid, and this seam here was very tight along. It's very tight fit. So what I did was I took the liquid glue and I just ran it along the bottom here like this. Then I held it in place so it would get tight and tack, and then obviously dry. I did have a bit of a fit problem in here at a couple of points, so I did use some instant glue on these points here to push down and just get tighter to this pin. And again, I put it in, gave it a push, got it in the spot that I wanted to, and shot it with a little accelerator. Now I did spray the accelerator straight directly upon the plastic. This is something that you should be aware of, model makers and students. Listen to me. Sometimes the accelerator will attack the plastic, so you have to be very careful about that. You always want to, if you're going to take your accelerator and spray it directly onto a piece, you want to put, like onto a piece of sprue or something, and see if that accelerator is going to attack that plastic. Some plastics it does, some plastics it doesn't. You need to find this out. Also, automobile builders, car people, be very careful of getting accelerator on chrome parts. Sometimes it will craze the chrome part or alligator the chrome that's applied upon the plastic. So you've got to be very careful about that. And again, some chromes do this and some chromes don't. So you've got to be careful of your chrome parts, car guys. All right? Now, we got that in. That was all tight, well and good. And then I figured that the top wing is probably the best to install first, for the fact of, if I was to install the bottom wing first, I do not have a real true glue point. See what I'm saying? That would be way too hard to do. Okay? So, this is what we're going to do. And again, like I say, entire process. Entire process. Move this wing. Now, before I do this, I got to put this down. I got to set this down. I want to dry fit. And I have to do this. I can't get a good angle on this for our viewers. But you've got a basic idea of what I'm going to do. We have the two female receiver holes on either side. Okay. We have the male plug right there. Okay, and now we're going to dry fit this together. There's another male plug right there as well too. Okay, let me put this on. Now the reason I'm dry fitting, obviously, is so I know how the part installs, but also I'm looking for any problems that I might encounter, as in a fit problem, or maybe a little piece of plastic that's sticking up, or maybe an injection pinhole that's got some excess plastic on it is not allowing me to get a good tight fit. So that's why I'm looking at this. And actually, this looks real good. This looks real good. Now, to help myself with this so I know where to glue, well, I'm going to do a little cheating. And you can cheat right along with me. Just don't get caught or you'll be doing detention. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I've taken a instant marker here, and I'm just going to draw a line and draw a line. I'm just having trouble coming up with the word not to use the product name. I want to call it up. Oh, no, I'm not going to say that. Okay, so this is what I did, just so I keep my brain straight about me. I've got a little line there and a little line right there. So I know I'm going to glue from that point in and from this point in. And I'm going to do, yes I am. I am going to do a couple things here. First of all, I got a little nub. And take that off. Just in case it creates a fit problem. I like that. The other thing I'm going to do is this, which I did not do in my other wing, but I'll do it on this wing because this is great. This is a great technique. Put that back. And we'll do a close-up here, Dave. Boy, that soft drink gave me wicked indigestion. I've got green. I've got some green paint here on a mating surface. So, remember the little trick I showed you in episode, 20, maybe 25, 26? Do you remember, Dave?
26.
Was it 26? Do you remember what the little trick I'm going to do is? No? No? Don't remember? I was going to give you a little test. It was going to be multiple choice. On that real nice smelling paper through the Xerox.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? Remember the days of that? Teacher would hand out all the paper. It would be the first thing everybody did. You know? By the way, speaking of which, I need to ask you a question. Do you know how train guys sleep? No, Bill. How do train guys sleep?
How do they do it, Bill?
How do train guys sleep, Bill? They sleep like this, Dave. They go. Martha with a shotgun. Okay, we're going to do the trick. We'll do the trick. The magic trick. David Copperfield would be proud of me. Either that or he'd throw a rock at me. I probably think it's probably going to be the latter. Now, I'm not doing this for gluing purposes. This is marvelous. I love this. Watch this. Bye-bye paint. This is such a great technique. I learned this by accident. I made a mistake. Look at that. Oh, and I just, hey, look at that. There's a little nubby right there too, Dave. Oh, that's good to discover. Okay. Clam Bake Dave's cameraman tip of the day. Never stare death in the face because it'll poke you back in the eye with a stick. Okay. Oh, we got to do something to make this so people aren't going throwing hand grenades in here. I'm screaming, incoming! Okay, going to use the larger application head for our glue. We know on our part where the glue needs to be. Got to set it down because when you glue, set your part so it doesn't move, set your hand so it's stable. Glue comes down the tube. I can see it bead at the end and from my glue point over. A little in the hole. Again. Oh, I wiped out my mark, but I got an idea where I am. Oh boy, this is critical. You know, I should probably use that other. You know what? Let's do this correctly, Dave. Let me be correct. Let me be correct. I'm going to use this one because I need precise application. This one here I need to get flowing and going. Here we go. Little bit. Keep my hand very solid. The needle almost gliding along the surface of this. And again, I want to show the entire process, so, you know, I mean, gluing gets a little long in the tooth, but that's all right because I want you to see this. This is what model making is all about. Patience. Patience, patience. I don't think I need that hole. That looks pretty good to me. I know how the part fits. Oh, I need to spread my glue. I take the toothpick and I just kind of move that around. I need to get out on the leading edge so that I get a good mating surface there. And over to the part. Again, I have to do this. You see that? Must have been a red Chinese. Okay. Put that on like that. There we go. There we go. There we go. Oh! Be real careful of the glue joint. A lot of times on the trailing edge. Oh, that's good. A lot of times on the trailing edge, the glue will squirt out. Remember what I told you about squirting glue out of a joint? Let me ask you this question, Dave. I'll give you a test. When we first apply glue and we get glue squirting out of a joint, do we clean it up then, immediately, or do we let it dry and then clean it up?
Let it dry.
Attaboy. Attaboy. Dave is paying attention. Let it dry, then clean it up. That is exactly right. Let it dry, then clean it up. Okay, let me get this back in here. So we put our glue away properly. And then I'm going to grab a couple clamps and make sure that my wing is in the proper position. That looks pretty good. And let's put a clothespin on it. Spring-loaded clothespins are awesome, awesome, awesome product. Oh, another one. You know, I don't think I actually need these on here anymore. This has been glued for a long time. It's making it heavy and it's making it awkward for me to move the wing around. This one fits better. Yeah, this one fits better. Maybe I won't have that problem. No, that doesn't even fit. There we go. Okay. Okay, good. Now, I'm going to let you in another little secret here. Secrets of the model builders. When we first did this, we had to take like a 15-minute break. For some reason, I could not get the wingtip to line up properly to keep my landing light proper. My landing light was jumping off in steps bad, wasn't it? I mean, like bad. Dave's, yes. So what I did then is I figured, well, maybe it's better to get the wingtip aligned properly, come this direction, and solve my problems as I came down the wing. Now, that did work way better than when I went the opposite direction. So what happened is, as I came down the wing, I got a really good forward fit, but my rear was way off, huh? Like, yeah, like way off. Dave and I just stood here for like 15 minutes just banging our heads like, how can you fix this? How can you fix this? Well, here's what I did. I laid it flat like this, and I took my number 11 blade. Now this was way up over this edge here, like a 1/16 of an inch, at least, huh? At least a 1/16. So what I did is I made sure I had a good, proper fit in this area here. Then as I went to the back, I grabbed my blade, I got into the recess hole, and I just kind of ran it down. Give it a push, ran it down, gave it a push, and lo and behold, I've got really a very good seam there. I mean, I do need a little bit of work, which is good because that's been one of Dave's big questions here. And it wasn't it that a viewer from Mashpee asked about seam work and stuff like that. Mashpee got a call. So this is to the gentleman in Mashpee. This should help you a lot as well. And I will fix that seam, but we want to fix the seam only after when, students?
After the glue is dry.
Glue is dried. Good for you, Dave. Honest to God, good for you, man. Good for you. Well, learning something as well as being my cameraman, huh? That's good. Dave builds real space stuff, folks. He is a real space model maker. And he shoots a lot of model rockets. So, how long have you been shooting rockets, Dave?
Oh, since I was a kid.
Since you were a kid? Yeah. You were just always really interested in real space stuff, huh?
Oh, since I was, since as far back as I remember.
Yeah. Do you remember what triggered that? Was it like...
What was going on in the space program at the time? You know, the Gemini program, then Apollo, then, I mean, I was hooked.
Yeah.
And they had models of everything.
They had
Everything
models.
was actually being used. So.
That's exactly right,
Oh,
yeah. Those models are even hard to come by now, aren't they?
You have one.
Yeah,
That's vintage.
Yeah, that Gemini, that big Gemini capsule. That's hard as hard to get, yeah. So that's what Dave and honestly, we stood here like 15 minutes trying to figure out what is wrong with this part. So anyhow, we figured it out. And like I say, I ran this down, and then all of a sudden I could get it. I did add a little instant glue in that area there. There was a little instant glue in there. That just made it quick so I could get it down, get it tight. I did not accelerate that. I just held it tight with my fingers. I've also found that with instant glues, the more pressure you apply to the part, the better adhesion you get. So it's not good to take a CA, go squeeze, leave it be. Squeeze it for a little bit. I mean, it's instant glue. It will set up fairly fast. The other thing that we encountered here was that we found on the bottom of this flap, the manufacturer had put a copyright symbol, the name of the manufacturer, and then was the date, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was something, the date. That had to be removed, and how I did that was with a little bit of sanding film paper that I just went in with my meat tray or fruit tray backing piece. Went in, cleaned that up. Then we went in with the 800 grit automotive sandpaper wet. And the reason that we do it wet is a couple of things, to kill a couple of things. One, as you start to sand with this, the wetness creates a little bit of a residue. That residue serves two purposes. That residue also serves as abrasive to further take this down, but it also works as a polishing agent, kind of. So not only are you using it to take that unwanted detail out, but it also restores almost like that smoothness of the plastic. And again, the water I took out of a regular spray bottle. I put it down over here. I went squirt, 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 picked it up with my finger, came over here, put it on. The water also acts as a heat. It dissipates the heat better. Now, not that I'm going to get a lot of heat, but as I was doing this and doing this with the 800, I was moving fairly fast. And of course, obviously, as you move very fast, friction creates heat. The water keeps the heat down. That's kind of an important thing on certain applications, not applications like this, but I do it all the time because the rule of automotive sandpaper is once you go over 600, well, once you hit 600 grit, I shouldn't say over, once you hit 600 grit, get it wet. Start getting it wet, keep it wet. 600, 800, 1,000, 1,200, 1,500, 2,000 on up. If you go into that, there's a thing called it's a micro fiber. It goes way up. I think I even have like 5,000th in grit on that stuff. So now that I've got the tack here on the wing, my glue is fairly tacked. You can see that I can take off my clamps, and I'm not worried about my wing going anywhere. Ready? We should cross everything that we got in our... You truly, viewers, literally, you don't have any idea the problem that we had. And we couldn't figure it out. We're standing here going, how can this not? How can this not? So, here we go. Ready? Here we go. I'm actually dreading this, Dave. I really am. I'm actually dreading this. That was a problem. And look at this, Dave. Look at this one.
Doing okay.
Ba-boomba.
Yeah. Doing okay.
My technical term, Babumba. That's a little Italian guy from Sicily. Good old Babumba. It's a circus act. You know what I'm going to do? I need to know. This is my own personal peace of mind. What I'm doing here, students, is for my peace of mind, I want to have that edge smooth. So I'm just going to hit this, and I'm hitting it with a mystery grade. A mystery grade. This is sandpaper for wood. You don't really want to use this, but I just want to, just my own little peace of mind here. I need to know this edge is flat. That's better. Dave, you know what? Actually, why don't you just run a close-up along the whole top edge?
Got it.
Okay. Now, let's go down. I'll take this down, put this on an angle, and we'll get the fit better. What was wrong with that other wing?
This is fine.
Look at this one. This is, honestly, this is fine. Was that not nuts? That was nuts. Okay. Phew. This is very easy. How are we doing time, Dave?
You've got about 12 minutes left.
12 minutes left? Okay, that's good. Okay. And again, let's show them the entire process, Dave. Get everything clean. Oh, you know what I got to do? I got to do my signature. Everything I build, folks, I sign. Like anyone's going to ever see this. But if there ever was a problem, someone told me if this could be urban myth. I don't know. This is what I just did. Someone told me down the road, if you ever had a problem, you said you were ripped off and someone recovered your model, and you know it's one of these high museum quality pieces that you've sold to someone for $8,000, $10,000. They can actually take run an X-ray on this, and if your name is written inside a fuselage or a wing, you can absolutely read it. So it's something I do. I sign all my pieces. That's what somebody told me. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true. But that's what I was told. They actually can see this. Actually, if we had a light on, I can, through the photographic lights, I can see my name perfectly through here. Perfect. But as you put it down, you won't be able to. And of course, once it gets paint, you won't be able to see this. But okay, let's lay it flat. Now, notice how I run this glue. This is very important. Oh, also, I want to show them that one part before we do this. To help the bottom wing have a mating surface, am I moving too fast?
Nope.
Along this edge, these guys have given me beautiful, I like it on the main part, they've given me this lip. Really good glue point. Really good glue point. The other thing I want to point out that I overlooked, because I didn't look at the spar really well, right in here, there's a landing light. I kind of wish I had painted that area before I put the wings together, but we're so far into it now, it's so late now, that I can get back into that point, but it might have been better for me and easier for me to do this and complete this as we do the installation, before we do the installation. But I didn't, and we'll handle that down the road. Now, let's put some glue on this thing. And let's hope this isn't one of those instances where it dry fit a million times great, and now I got glue on and it doesn't fit. I'll tell you a story as I glue. You can watch me glue, and it's story time, so gather around the fire and sit in your big relaxing chair, because it's time for Stories with Clambake Dave and Modeler Bill. I was building a 72nd scale model of a privateer. The privateer, instead of having a tab that fit into an area on the wing, it had a recess cut out in the side of the fuselage that the entire wing fit into. Also, I got a break story because I want you to notice how I glue this. The piece is flat, my hand is flat. I'm only going to run a little bit as far as I can go with my hand flat, pick my hand up, move, run again. Do not try to overextend and reach. That's bad. That's when you get all things go off crazy. Okay? So back to the privateer story. I had put that wing in that privateer dry with no glue 200 times. I got the glue on the piece. It's time to install the wing. And honestly, it wants nothing to do with the opening. It's actually like the wing has grown in size and the opening's gone small. It absolutely wants nothing to do with that opening. I don't know what to do. And on top of everything else, the glue should act as a lubricant to help me with the insertion of this wing. And again, I need to break story because notice, I went this direction down the wing with the glue here. To go back is weird for me. That's just for me. It may not be for you, but for me it's weird. So I'm going to do the same thing here and continue in that direction. Well, anyhow, this doesn't make any sense to me, and I get a little frustrated, and I really put some pressure behind this, and I took the entire side of the privateer, and I literally crushed it inside the model. I just crushed it inside the model. Took out a whole big chunk. It was really very bad. But that was at the point of time that I had met that guy that was fabricating for race cars, midget race cars and dirt track race cars. And he had taught me the crazy glue fix technique. I did fix that privateer. I did get the side done and got it all nice and put it together, and lo and behold, if I didn't take the best overall B24 award at a contest about 3 months later with that piece that I just devastated. I devastated it. So a little story about that, glue and wings. So here we go. Hopefully we do not replicate my little story. Okay, get away from the fireplace, put down the popcorn, and pay attention. Train guys. All right. In we go. Please fit. Lo and behold, Dave. Got to take a look at my front forward seam. Notice where I put my fingers. Notice where I put my fingers. I'm a little behind it. I want to check that forward seam. That looks really, really good. Oh, that fit. That fit great. Well, get a close up here, Dave. Right in there. Watch this. Good glue squirt. See it? Mm-hmm. Keep your fingers away from it. Okay, I think what we got to do here, Dave, is take a... Oh, no, we're all getting close to the end, aren't we? Okay. Let's let them see it, all right? Oh, this is put on your nightcaps and pour a glass of milk, because honestly, this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to hold this just to get a tack. Now, the reason I'm doing this with my fingers is because this ensures a proper fit. I know it. If I put a clamp on it, I don't pay attention to the clamp, things may move. So I want a tack in here. That's what I want, tack. Here we go. Watch your forward wing area. You don't get your fingers on around. And I think I'm to the point now. Yes, I am. Let's start installing clamps. Need two hands. Boom. Boom. Can you see him, Dave? Ma, there was this guy today on TV putting clamps on a wing. I was riveted. I couldn't tear myself away from the TV. I think he was a relative of the Beverly Hillbillies. See if somebody gets that reference. See if somebody picks on that reference. Hillbillies, Beverly Hillbillies. You got to be quick when you're playing with the big boys around here. And that, my friends, is about it. I'm doing time-wise, Dave?
Couple more minutes.
About 2 more minutes? I can show them that sprue thing. I'll show them that sprue thing. I need a couple more clamps, gang. I keep my clamps behind me in a box. My hobby clamps. Listen, gang. Hobby clamps truly are spring-loaded clothespins of a different color. That's all they are. $15 for 5 spring-loaded clothespins. $10,000 for $1. So you do the math. And that's it, gang. That's it. That is it. Okay? We will take this, put this in a proper place to dry, and with our remaining few minutes, I'm going to give you a little tip on something here. I've stretched sprue in this show many, many, many times. Now, one thing that I found out the other day in stretching sprue was, lo and behold, and I'm going to get this, let me put this against something white so you can really get it, because green against green isn't going to work. I want you to get the shape of the piece, Dave. See the shape of that piece? Mm-hmm. It's kind of squarish kind of thing. I noticed that when you take this, heat this up, get the droop, and stretch it, it maintains the squareness of the shape. These pieces sticking out here are not round. They are literally a box square in the shape of that sprue. So, keep that in mind as you're stretching sprue. If you need certain shapes with your sprue and things like that, you can find interesting shapes and stretch them and get that shape. I just built a wrought iron railing around a power plant. Looks awesome, yes? Yeah, it came out great. But it's all done with this little flat stock. So, once again, that's to scare away the evil spirits, Dave. That gets them out of the dojo for you. Once again, with my faithful clam-bake cameraman Dave and I, your instructor Bill Grigg, and your host as well. Thank you for watching Simple Groundwork and Diorama Techniques. This is episode 27. So join us again. Come on back. We will see you. You keep on building. You keep on trying these techniques. They will work for you. Good luck modeling. Take care and bye-bye.